welcome back for another awesome, exciting adventure we're about to take you on for our video cast from I Stand With My Pack. And this episode is America, land of the Mutts, and it's kind of fitting given the day.
I am
and
one.
given our guest, and even you. This is Queen, she's joining us today. This is a new addition to the I Stand With My Pack family. As you know, I'm Taylor, one of the producers of I Stand With My Pack. I'm joined with Taryn, she's our communications officer. It's nice to have you back, T.
Thank you.
And Zach here. Zach is a Southern California native. Zach Skow. He is offspring of an aeronautical engineer, I believe.
I am.
He had a childhood dream of once being a fighter pilot, but I don't know.
Didn't pan out. I became an alcoholic instead.
But now you do just as good, if not better, for the world.
Yeah.
So, with that said, we always remind you we are a vegan organization, a nonprofit, Los Angeles-based animal rescue. We work with pretty much any animal that needs to be rescued, specifically canines, though. And you know that about us. Follow us on social media, check us out online. And with that said, we're gonna get into this.
Let's do it, man.
So
let's get vulnerable.
All right.
All right.
Nothing is off limits. Have at it. That means for you guys too. Watch out. I'll ask questions back.
It's great when you ask questions back.
Yeah.
Keeps us on our game.
Yeah, let's do it.
Perfect. So first and foremost, congratulations on the newest addition to your family.
Thanks. Yeah. Man, it's dreams are coming true that I never thought possible, and I'm baffled every single day I get to wake up and see that little human being, and my wife
precious.
too. I still feel like it's a dream. You know, this is somebody else's life. You know.
Well, good for you, man.
Yeah.
I like being an uncle for now.
Well, I mean, I lived in this kind of chronic sense of self-hatred and self-loathing that would have never opened me up to the opportunity of having a wife that I love and that loves me, or much less having a kid. I just never thought those things were meant for me. You know, I didn't think I was going to live past 30. I just never thought having a kid was possible. I didn't think all my insecurities, you know, like having to support a human, and I thought I did too much damage to my body to be able to have kids, and I just thought, you know, those are that's for other people. It won't happen for me. You know, I think I maybe always had a little bit of hope, but and it's all happened.
Nice.
You know, it's all happened.
That's incredible. So you've done amazing things personally, and then for people who aren't familiar with your organization, Marley's Mutts, can you tell us a bit about the organization and your mission and how it started?
Yeah, so it's called Marley's Mutts, and I founded Marley's Mutts 9 years ago, and I was diagnosed with end-stage liver disease in 2008. So that's acute alcoholic hepatitis, cirrhosis of the liver from drinking and drug use. So I essentially needed a liver transplant within 90 days, or I was going to die. So I was here at Cedars. I got transferred. I spent 2 months in the hospital. I got transferred here to Comprehensive Transplant Center at Cedars, and you know, just the outlook was terrible. I got sent home to try and survive 6 months so that I could be eligible for transplant. And what ended up happening was I spent that time focused on dogs instead of kind of withering away and either putting a bullet in my brain or kind of succumbing to liver disease. I was able to focus on my dogs. I've been doing some rescue work for a couple of years, and Marley's Mutts just really was born out of trying to stay alive one day at a time.
Wow.
Just trying to put my brain on anything other than self-loathing, wanting to drink, and wanting to kill myself. You know, it was really just trying to live for something else and put my energy into anything but between my ears. You know what I mean? It was just not it was a desperate place to be in my shoes and in my mind and in my spirit, and I found my dogs, and I just, again, one day at a time, just got a little bit better and a little bit better, and I never thought about having a dog rescue. I never thought about having any kind of nonprofit organization. I mean, it would have been awesome, but again, like I didn't have the security to think I could build something like that. But people wanted to be a part of it, and people saw this yellow, swollen, 140-pound, like walking dead person start to get
vision.
Oh man, I look like the sickest sick person you've ever seen in your life.
Wow.
You know, and as I got a little bit better and people wanted to be a part of it, and I just, you know, I panhandled for spay and neuter money at meetings, and people would help out, and then I'd lose everything to like a little litter of parvo puppies, and then I'd go, oh fuck, I'm done with this, and there's no way I can keep this going. But people prop you up. I mean, I didn't even come up with the name. You know, it was It was always people saying that you should do this and you're good at this and you're good at being vulnerable and you should tell your story and you can help people and you're natural with dogs. And it's me, my own ego going, fuck no, I'm terrible at that. You don't see what I actually see. You don't wake up with what I wake up with. You don't know what I've done. You don't know whatever the story is that means I can't do what I'm capable of. And my dogs just convinced me that I was worth loving, that life was worth living, and that I had a purpose to be here, that I had a reason to be here.
Now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you've taken this and you've sort of, delved into you working with inmates now in the system. Let's talk about that a little bit, and how you've transitioned.
Well, I mean, to anybody, like one of the things that since we have an awesome platform and that one of the things that people should realize is like you can do anything you put your mind to, anything you're passionate about. I mean, all of us probably had other careers that had zero to do with dogs, and our lives' purpose had nothing to do with the work that we do now. And it took that leap of faith, and now we get to wake up and influence the world in general in a positive way because we took that leap of faith. And never done anything better in my life than listen to my dogs. I try to tell people like I'm alive because I have a God of my understanding and dogs that understand me. And that's what working with dogs helped me realize. And I don't know, man. I'm so sitting down and getting to talk to you guys and reflect on what the past was like and what it all means now is so much. It's so important because I don't think about the whole picture often enough. I don't think about what it was like until we sit down and dissect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's.
Do you need the reminders every now and then?
All the time, man. I forget. As you know what it's like. I mean, you pull every one of our phones together. We probably have 250 unresponded to texts, all from people in desperate scenarios that you're their one lifeline to like hope. And so it's difficult. We get pulled in a lot of different directions. It's hard to focus on everything because we're constantly inundated.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's good to be selfless, though. I think sometimes.
Oh, it is for sure.
Sometimes, not all the time.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
You got to be. I mean, one of the things
very fine line to walk on that one. Though.
One of the things that I haven't enjoyed about the rescue community, and which is becoming very evident to me now, is that we need the best and the brightest. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like I just got back from Nicaragua. I would have never even talked about going to Nicaragua before because when I did, I got so much flack for being a nonprofit director in Nicaragua. Like as though you're not allowed to have a personal life. What are you doing surfing at the beach? You're supposed to be flagellating yourself at the shelter 7 days a week, not having any personal life. And if you break from that, you're not really a rescuer. And that's the way I lived for years and years and years and years. It was 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that's the only way to go because lives depend on it. And I've also got to make up for a whole history of being a fuck up, but now it's like we need to have balance. We need to take time or else we're just going to push away anybody who's worth a damn from being involved in this work. And we need really, really influential, smart, empathetic. We need the best of the best to get this to the next level. We can't be pushing people away and all that polarization that happens in rescue and all that envy and hatred and some of the worst stuff.
That's why we actually had you on today. Where we just want your secrets. That's all we care about to get Iceland back to that next level. So, I mean,
you guys are there, man.
Who cares about his life?
Yeah.
You guys are. It's all about vulnerability, right? And positivity. And you guys have that. You definitely do. Even walking in this house, you can tell so much about the experience you're going to have or where people are by the intuitive vibe that you guys give off. You all have a very wonderful vibe. And obviously your dog, that's another way you can, I don't like to judge people, right? But what kind of dogs they have in their lives, man.
Oh, what do you mean? That's the only time I judge. No, you don't have a dog? Oh, okay. That's your dog. Oh.
Yeah. My brain, I get so scatterbrained because there's so many things to talk about, and I feel like when you get around people you can relate to, this is our chance to have like psychiatric development.
For sure.
Speaking of development, all right. So what's next with Marley's Mutts? I mean, in the scenario you guys are working in incarceration and rehabilitation through canines.
That's my deal. That's my jam. Is positive change. Positive Change is our inmate canine training program that we have in 4 state prisons in California. So we've been at Corcoran for the last couple of years, which is kind of the worst of the worst prison. It's a level 4 180 facility. North Kern State Prison, Wasco State Prison, California City. California City was our pilot program, and like you heard me talking to Jamal on the phone right before this started, and that's one of our guys who just got out of prison. He's been in 18 years, and we're helping him We're going to work to help him transition into society. So he trained in our program for 2 years. He's an excellent trainer, and he's got a huge career in whether it's rescue work or dog training, dog walking. The pet services industry is a $100 billion a year industry that's only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. All of those waves that hit Los Angeles and then San Francisco, which are now that cultural paradigm shift where dogs are family, that's spreading across the world. And so there's all these positions needed for experts. And when you work positive change in prison, it's a 14-week long program and you're working with some of the best trainers in the world. And so these inmates, if these guys have re-enrolled in the program, they become master trainers and they work on they're interacting with we have very confident, assertive, wonderful female trainers in our program. It's kind of funny how the guys, myself and John from I Pity the Bull and Ty from Reverse Rescue, we do some of the training, but we're more in there to connect emotionally. Not to say that the women don't, but we're the softies that go in there to try and find out what these guys want to talk about and how they can open up and develop emotionally, whereas the women are getting them on path to be expert trainers. And we have 3 million euthanized dogs annually. We have 3 million incarcerated Americans. It only makes sense to merge the two and help the problems cancel each other out. And in terms of being a place for hope and energy awareness, so much is about energy and about being aware of how you feel and how that affects animals and being aware of how you feel and how it affects the human experience. And that's what working with dogs teaches these guys is to tear down the walls that they've spent their entire incarceration building up so that they can be vulnerable and so that they can succeed in the world. Because when we get to these guys, they have no interaction with females. They're racially polarized completely. And they're at 1,000% set up to fail on the outside. 80% of them will end up back in prison within 3 years at a cost of $50,000 per inmate to the state of California. And to give these guys an option so that when they get out, they've interacted with women, they've interacted with other men in a emotional manner. I correspond with them. We write letters to each other. We have each other's back, and to set these guys up for vocational success when they get out, there's just nothing like it. We need to put more focus on programs like this that soften guys up.
Have you seen the numbers yet? Have they come back with the return versus recidivism when they're reactivated, I guess, into society?
Yeah.
We
know that, we've had some of our guys get out, and Jason Morey is a shining example of how you can succeed. He spent 13 years down, and he's got a successful, he's only been out for like a month and a half, for as long as our baby's been alive. Those were like the two pivotal things happening in my life at the time. Jason was getting out, and our daughter was going to be born, and I was going to have to be at one
your
of
real
them.
baby and your man baby.
Yeah. Well, you fall in love with these people. You really do. What I would rescue. I'll always be passionate about rescue. That will always be what saved my life. What gave me direction. But what blows my hair back and what makes me want to get up in the morning and really go at life is positive change. Is working with human beings and dogs. Is getting all that together and working with people that used to be like me. True second chances. That people that I didn't have. I spent so much time stuck in a quagmire of hopelessness and just having no confidence in myself or the direction I was heading, and just knowing it was a matter of time that before I used again or just died by using or drinking. And so to be able to create this little collective sphere of people that really care about one another, that are interested in making each other succeed on the outside and just in general in life, through vulnerability and connection is so, it blows my hair back, man. It is what gives me passion and pride, and I haven't used drugs in 10 years, but the thing that gets me closest to feeling high as fuck is walking.
10 years though, that's
yeah. In or out of prison. That's when I get. That's the. Oh, she's out.
Quite the gymnast.
I'm coming home with that dog.
Queen, we can get off the hot tub now, honey.
I think part of it is when you name a dog Queen, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? You name them Queen, they're just gonna start acting like it.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's all good.
So what's next for Marley's Mutts? Are you going to take this program across the nation? Or
that's my goal. The biggest problem now is funding. It's funding and trainer recruitment. So Kim Erickson, Sam Johnson, Leah Marquez, Lisa Porter, John Flores, Ty, with all these, we've coalesced this great group of trainers, and they're all over the place. There's great trainers all over the world. So we need to cultivate and produce trainers who can take this program into other prisons, other facilities. And we have a curriculum, we have an operational procedure which we've created that can be applied to virtually any prison. So yeah, take it to every prison, make it mandatory. And it's different from, we've been to certain prisons where they said, yeah, we have a puppy program. We don't need another damn puppy program. And positive change is not a puppy program. It is not about
positive
raising,
change.
It's about
PAWS.
Yeah, it's about positive change is about vulnerability and moving forward as an emotional, moving forward in life and not just learning how to train dogs, but learning how to be your energy state of awareness and getting. It's about so much more than that. It's not just. Not that puppy programs are wrong. Not that there's anything wrong with puppy programs. They're wonderful, and that same awareness is required in those programs. But so our goal is to spread positive change to as many places as possible, and we need funding for that. We do it all on our own right now. We have a little bit of funding. About 50% of 2 of our programs is funded by the state, which expires in a couple of years. But to get the program to continue to expand, we need it mandated. We need political support, and we need people to want this program to succeed. And then, like our next big program is in juvenile detention. So
That's
it'll
great.
be the first program of its kind in a juvenile facility, which is nuts, man. To go into if you've never been to a juvenile hall, I mean, most people have never been to a juvenile hall. The whole point is like out of sight, out of mind, right? So people don't have to think about those places. But to see little kids locked up in concrete cells is
It's got to be pretty heart-wrenching.
It is, and so in female offenders, girl criminals are the least advocated for group of the population of just any population. So programs for them. So if you take a 13-year-old violent offender or drug offender or whatever cycle she's born into, and she's at a pivotal place, and you can either say, all right, we're going to provide you some programming and some tools so that you can get out of that cycle and succeed in life, or we're going to continue to keep you incarcerated, feed you nothing but bullshit and darkness, and then you'll turn out to be dark, and then your kids will turn out to be dark, and the people you hang out with will turn out to be dark. Or you can pump in some light, and this goes for our adult inmates as well, and you can try to enrich and cultivate and provide a fork in the road. But as where they're headed now, there is no fork in the road. They're down. They are locked in a vicious cycle that no one really gives a shit about, or we're so used to having us be here and safe, and you are the bad people. We'll dress you up in blue and keep you bad and away from us because you're whatever. We like to identify people as a threat and keep them that way. And these poor girls they're just kids, man. They're just little kids, and if you bringing in a dog program, which is taking a long time. We have to raise the money and you have to get all the clearances. When that happens, that'll be a really big moment for me.
In America, I think. Yeah. I mean,
there's just no reason why we shouldn't be having this kind of intervention on a multitude of levels, whether it's dogs or whether it's whatever kind of vocational training or spiritual training or, we have this girl. What I'm so pumped to see is like we have this girl, Angela Aidan, who's just a very spiritual. She emanates lights of all different colors at all times.
She's currently incarcerated, or
no, she's one of our trainers,
okay.
And she's just moved into our ranch. So we got this absolute beacon of light who's can't wait to be involved in the juvenile detention program, and I can't wait to see what kind of little side offshoot programs could be developed to provide these little girls with a sense of spirituality and a sense of. And when I talk about God, I'm not talking about Jesus. I'm not talking about Allah. I'm not talking about Vishnu or Krishna. I'm just talking about recognizing energy and strength and power that isn't just you. Mm-hmm. That recognizing an energy in the world that isn't just you.
Yeah.
Right.
And that kind of enlightenment and development and so seeing what other kind of programming could come from positive change. What other kind of spiritual female empowerment stuff, whether it's yoga or she does sound baths and yoga and Kundalini breathing and all that kind of stuff.
Did a breath workshop here at my house recently.
Yeah,
nice.
man.
It's pretty awesome.
I mean, it opens up your world to a whole new. It opens everything up, and it brings you back to yourself. And we're, I'm only getting to like the tip of the iceberg. I'm 38, and I'm just getting to a lot of this. Going, man, I wish I would have been plugged in earlier,
right?
But.
That's the journey, though. That's the journey. It comes with that, right?
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
That's impressive. So these are obviously programs that are needed from the perspective of the animals and obviously the humans. So how do people find out more? Where do we learn more about how?
Marley'sMutts.org is the website, and Positive Change on Instagram, PAWSITIV. You can't have a dog program without having some odd cliche acronym or something. Like how many different paws or barks or so positive change on Instagram, Marley's Mutts on Instagram. I'm just Zach Skow. And yeah, man. I mean, there's so many ways. Like dogs are medicine. Dogs are medicine, and there's so many different ways to apply them to the world and help make people better and help make our experience. I mean, they're man's best friend for a reason, right? And we're kind of just scratching the surface as to the potential of how dogs can be used to heal and to develop and to keep honest, right? Like nobody will tell you are more full of shit than a dog at the shelter, right? Take your energy right off the 405 after getting a fight with your girlfriend or your wife or whatever, and then take that shit into the shelter and then try to be effective. And unless you slow down, and your dogs will force you to take a breath. Yeah. Like, all right, what do I have to be accountable for? What do I need to work out? What am I trying to cheat and skip through? And they'll keep you honest in that regard. And for me, also, my biggest thing is I'm hyper sensitive. I'm an empath, and I'm overly sensitive. So I'm highly critical of myself. I could walk into our interaction and be like, oh man, did I shake his hand wrong today? Should I have hugged him, but I didn't? Pisces, huh? Did I, whatever.
I know, right? We get it.
Where my brain won't shut up about that. So, and then affirmation doesn't do me any good, usually. Like likes on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Sometimes that kind of affirmation doesn't do it for me, but canine affirmation always does it for me. Yeah. It always helps bring me back to like, all right, shit, I am good enough. Like, this dog loves me for a reason. If I were a true piece of shit, this dog wouldn't have anything to do with me. So drop the story and get with it. And that's all. I'm getting better with that. I'm getting better. I'm trying not to be so sensitive. That's my greatest attribute and my biggest downfall.
That's great though. That's a great way to be. I've struggled with sensitivity and taking things to heart. So.
Oh man. We should just be there for one another, man. There's probably so many of my friends watching this going, yep, man, at least he's aware of it.
Yeah, right.
At least he knows about it. Awareness is the first step. Now work on fixing it.
So what else is coming up for you and Marley's Mutts? I mean, obviously, your new addition to your family is going to take a lot of your time. Well,
we have the craziest farm at our house.
You guys do?
Yeah. We have 12 animals.
Wow.
Nice.
We always have 3 foster dogs with us at all times. We just brought cat rescue is a whole nother. I have cats now.
Yeah.
I'm a cat guy.
I feed the strays.
Official,
nice.
Man. Woo!
They can't catch them.
Opened up a whole new part of my heart. These cats. I thank you, man. He knows.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but we cleared out the shelter at Mojave. The Mojave shelter is Eastern Kern County, and we rescued every animal. And there's
Incredible.
3 cats there, and there's 20 something animals and 3 cats, and we live in the mountains, and there's tons of rats and mice where we live, and we have dog food. It just develops into this horrendous rat and mouse problem. So these cats come from a feral cat colony. One cat came from the owner died. So we're like, you don't know what you're gonna get. You have no clue. So, we bring these feral cats into 2 of them in our garage. They're not feral at all. They're like the dopest, most affectionate cats you've ever come across. And they killed 10 mice in the first 2 days, piled them up on the dog bed in the garage, and we're like, here you go, Dad.
That's impressive.
This is what we did.
That's how they brag. That's how they show off.
And we have another one.
I used to have when he used to bring us everything to the point where I'd be like, Jesus, how did you get this thing? It's bigger than you.
And the people, like what Cat Rescue is up against, because they're pegged at like 80, they're stuck at like 80%. Cat Rescue euthanasia is like 80% in most places. It's
horrible.
And you can't really, like, spaying and neutering is TNR is a horrific foe to be up against to try and, trap and spay and neuter and release that many. They're just up against such gnarly numbers, right? So I got tremendous empathy for cat. We have this organization called Meow and Co. and the cat people that are in our area, and just learning from them about some of the subtleties and like the numbers, just the sheer epidemic, like Holocaust that they're up against. You gotta have a lot of empathy, and then just truly how dope cats are. Like our cat Henry William French, he doesn't give a shit.
I mean,
he rolls
based off his
with
name.
that name.
Oh, he's clearly an old, like, Frenchman from the colonial era. He just rolls right into our house, so arrogant, and just became one of the family, like, immediately. And again, this is one of those cats we know nothing about, and he's so affectionate. he knows exactly what I need from an affirmation standpoint. Like he sits on my chest and he just like, I get you.
Does he do the kneading where he follows you and like?
He totally
It's the
does.
best.
I
missed that about the cat.
I get what he's all about. So, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
I think I need a field trip to this ranch. I need to.
Yeah.
This is just my house. We have a couple horses and a bunch of cats. And like I said, we have about 6 dogs. I always have 3 foster dogs. What's next is our ranch, which is 20 acres up in Tehachapi. It's right next door to the prison. We're really trying to working on integrating what happens at that prison in with what happens at our ranch. So trying to get the best possible kind of work release program and positive change integrated, with it's rare that you have a rescue and we share hills. So it's rare that you have a prison of that size with the amount of problems that they have right next to a rescue of our kind of caliber. So I'm just we're trying to build those together. We're trying to expand our educational program. We have this big educational program called Pledge, Positive Leadership and Empathy in Dog Guardianship. Again, acronyms, that's what it's all about.
That's all right.
Which is
we'll put a plug up there for you on it.
Yeah, it's Common Core curriculum, so it integrates a lot of the stuff our kids already need to learn, but it does it through the delivery mechanism of dogs. Which whether you're talking about cannabis or education, humane education, there's no better way to deliver that than dogs. Because kids will understand dogs, they pay attention. I don't remember a lot of things from when I was a kid, but there was a couple times where animals came to school, and I remember that. So
true.
Trying to educate our youth. We're really, the goal of Marley's Mutts is to attack the entire problem of euthanasia, the problem that we have in our shelters through every means that we have available to us. So education for create our leaders of tomorrow, spay and neuter education, adoption, rescue, rehab, just tackling it from a holistic approach. Mm-hmm. Finding every way you can to get in and solve the problem and doing it.
Amazing.
And all this information is on your websites too for people to get involved.
We are just a group of people trying to figure shit out too. So,
that's where it starts though. Part of the show when we do this with I Stand With My Pack is we challenge everybody each week or each time we have an episode to a call to action to get involved, right? Whether that's change your diet, whether that's go volunteer, whether that's go to a shelter, whether that's get involved with your program.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how receptive this prison system is to people coming in that don't have obviously clearance.
Very receptive.
They are.
Clearance is pretty easy to get. Christina Whitmore.
That's our call to action then for you. So.
Yeah, we're just expanding to Los Angeles. We're trying to get more people. So Positive Change or Marley's Mutts LA is official now. Mm-hmm. Nice. Natalie Maines from the Dixie Chicks, she's been great. She's on our first foster, and she kicked butt and took on a couple of puppies. And Joey Lakoff's our kind of our de facto director. If she heard me say director, she'd kill me. I'm not taking that much responsibility. So we're working on hiring somebody once we get to that point, and just trying to grow our message and our programs inside Los Angeles, because we're in Kern County, man. We're in the poorest county in California. Yeah. We need to be accessing Los Angeles, and
well, we can help you do that, I think.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. And the things that we talk about, I am primarily vegetarian. I am sober. I am a conscious, thinking, mm-hmm. feeling, empathizing creature, and so the best thing we can do is to create a movement. Is to talk about everything. Not rescue will lead you to talking about empathy. Rescue will lead you to talking about consciousness and being of service to something greater than yourself and finding your purpose and all of those things that are all the life questions all of us have and that keep us in our ruts rather than in our grooves. And so it's great that we can all sit here and vibe on the same thing, and that's how movements get going and get out and we got to make this shit cool. We got to make this shit attractive and
just because you have an organization then it's not cool. That's you gotta that's at the tipping point.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean. You also got to make it doable, and you got to make it love. We got to get back to the positive part of all of it. Right?
Speaking of love,
yeah.
Okay, well, that said, it was awesome we could finally get you on and get you here to
let's talk for a few more hours. I'm into it.
Yeah, I don't know if we have the bandwidth for that, but we're literally unlike the channel.
We'll just do parts.
Okay, well, so this has been awesome. You guys can obviously follow us through our social media, I Stand With My Pack, through the website, istandwithmypack.org or istmp.org. You can reach out to us via email.
I stand with your pack.
Yeah. That's our point. Everybody has a pack. You just got to choose which pack to stand with.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we have a shirt for you. White or black?
Black because I'm dirty. I have dogs and babies.
We're growing around the animals.
White doesn't last
Black
long.
because I'm dirty.
Yeah.
White does not last long, that's for sure.
Awesome, man. Well, it's been great having you on with us.
Yeah,
Taryn,
Thank you
it's
so
nice to have you
much.
back.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I enjoyed it. I go on tangents, so I apologize, but that's just how my brain works.
That's incredible.
This is your episode, buddy. Land of the Mutts.
All right.
Call it.
Shut him up and...
Sweet, dude.